back on your backs, we're going to start with some hip openers. So we'll start with some mobility, and then we'll hop into those weights and the actual workout part of today. So go ahead and lay flat on your back for me. We're going to start with these hip openers. So you're going to have your legs bent. You're going to keep your knees separated, and I want you to go ahead and track both knees down to the ground and really focusing on that back knee, trying to push down to the floor. You'll feel that nice big stretch to the front of your hip flexor and down through your quad. And you're just going to hold that stretch for about a 1-2 count, and then go ahead and breathe, rotate over to the opposite side. You got about 40 seconds here, so go as fast or slow as you want to. If the stretch feels really good and you just want to enjoy it, hold it a little bit longer. Feel free to. If you want to move a little bit faster, get that blood pumping, you can as well. But I want you to keep those shoulders square, and then do your best to just see how far you can take those knees to the ground. Can you get both of them down? Maybe you can just get the front one. You're still trying to reach with that back leg. We're going to go about another 20 seconds here. And then we're going to move into some dynamic supine twists. So with the supine twist, if you have low back issues, you may just want to hold this instead of moving through it. But if you feel comfortable with it, we're going to go ahead and extend, and we're going to do the same kind of dynamic movement we're doing here, where we're just holding for that 1-2, and then we're releasing and switching sides. So I'm going to have you go ahead and extend those legs long. Make sure your palms are facing up towards the ceiling for me. Take one leg, swing it across your body for that nice big stretch. Do your best to keep this opposite shoulder down flat on the ground. Hold that stretch for about that 1-2 count, and then go ahead and bring that leg through. Bring that opposite leg across the body. So the more space you can create between that foot and that opposite shoulder, the more space, the more stretch you're going to get out of this. And again, if you want to move a little quicker, you can. If you know you have low back tension or your back tends to be a little stiff, you may just want to hold and kind of just let yourself gently glide into this. Hold a little bit longer, 5 to 10 seconds, and then go ahead and switch sides. You can limit that range of motion, or you can extend that leg longer to make this a little bit harder. We're just going to go one more here on each side, guys, and then we're going to pick up the tempo a bit with this warm-up. So enjoy this stretch. And then finish this last side. What I'm going to have you guys do is meet me on all fours in your fourplex position. We're going to make sure that we find neutral spine. So whenever we're in this position, we want to make sure that our low back doesn't arch and our hips shift up. So I want you to go ahead and pull your belly button in. I'd rather you overcompensate by pulling your back up. Hold on, I'm just going to let someone in. Then letting your stomach drop too low. So go ahead and find that neutral spine. Make sure your back is flat. Pull your shoulders back and down. We're going to go ahead and start with some cat-cow, guys. We're going to transition into a child's pose. We're going to push back into our hips. So you're going to take a big exhale with me. So take that big inhale. On your exhale, drive your chin up, drop your stomach and your chest down to the ground. Give that extension through that back. And then inhale, release into that cat pose. And then from here, keeping that rounded spine, I want you to go ahead and sink back into your hips, pushing your glutes right on top of your heels. We're going to be here for 5, so take your time through it. Take that breath. Inhale, exhale, pull those stomachs and chest down. Release back up into that cat pose. Keep that rounded back as you sink back into your hips for that nice big stretch. 3 more again. Again, going at your own speed and tempo. Feeling your body out this afternoon. Seeing what feels good. Go as fast or as slow as you want to. We'll get these last 2. Make sure you're breathing through the stretch. Trying to create as much range of motion through that spine as you can by extending and flexing. And then this is going to be your last one here, guys. Take that breath. Hold that stretch. Engage the core to pull back up and then sink back into those hips. We're going to go ahead and again pick up the tempo a bit. So from here, I'm going to change my direction, but for this first, just to show you, bring yourself out of child's pose, untuck your toes, lift yourself up so you end up in that plank position. Okay, so you're going to be in plank with me. We're going to take a big step up. You're going to ground this front heel. You're going to drop this back knee to the ground so you're resting on the ground. You have this nice big pull through your hips. You're going to reach up towards the ceiling, give me that nice big extension, reach to those fingertips. Again, we'll go ahead and set that hand down. Step this leg back, give me that same stretch on the opposite side. So the goal is to try to get those hands and those feet in a straight alignment. But for some of you, your hips are gonna be really tight. You're not gonna be able to reach as far. That's fine, go as far as your hips will allow you to, but I want you to make sure that your heel and your whole foot is grounded into the floor. So we're gonna go here, start moving a little bit quicker, picking up that tempo. We're gonna start transitioning into some of our strength movements here, and then we'll get the timer going and we'll actually grab onto those weights, guys. So here we go. I'm gonna have you do about one more on each side. I'm not sure which side you started with, so just keep track of that. Make sure you get even set on each side. And then finish this set up. Meet me back in plank position for our last little bit through this mobility warm-up. We're gonna go ahead and come back in. We're gonna shift into that downward dog. So if you need to bend your knees, go ahead and bend the knees, but I want your tailbone up towards the sky. And I want you to pull your shoulders back and away from your ears. Holding that big extension through your whole posterior chain. Go ahead and roll your back down to plank. For some of you, you're gonna drop down to the knees for a push-up. For some of you, you're gonna keep that core strong and just give me a full plank push-up. I prefer you give me range of motion over being planked and only getting a partial push-up. So if you can't get super low in your planked push-up, go ahead and drop down to those knees. We got 3 more. Again, going at your own speed and tempo. Hold that downward dog stretch for about a count of 1 to 2. Really enjoying that stretch to the hamstring, the low back. Driving those heels down towards the ground and those hands out in front of you. We're gonna get this last one here, guys. Now you're gonna finish. Give me this last push-up. Meet me back in downward dog. We're gonna go ahead and walk yourself up to that standing position. I'm gonna give you a minute if you need to rearrange your camera at the top here. So start to walk your hands to meet your feet. You can sit here for a second into this nice dangled hamstring stretch, but slowly begin to roll your body up. Your head is gonna be that last thing that pops up for me. If you need to rearrange your camera real quick or rearrange your setup so that you can see standing up, go ahead and do that. We're gonna come into our first circuit. So we got 3 circuits today, guys. It's gonna be a good little workout. You're gonna get a nice little burn. We're gonna go starting with the legs. If you have those dumbbells, feel free to grab them. If you need to go down to 1 dumbbell or no weight, you can also do that as well. What we're gonna start with though is our goblet squat. So I'm gonna have you take those dumbbells. If you have 2, you're gonna push them together. You're gonna hold them even with your chest. And then we're gonna go ahead and just drop into that squat. If you're still warming up, if you're feeling stiff this afternoon, feel free to start a little bit shorter with your range of motion. Maybe you're doing more of a half squat. But if you're feeling good, I want you to go ahead and push that range of motion for me. Focus on that form. See how low, how deep you can get into that squat. Posture stays tall. Your chest should be lifted up. You shouldn't be looking down at the ground at the bottom of this. Make sure your glutes are underneath you. You're using those hips and those legs to get that range of motion, not bending at the torso. And then also supporting those dumbbells. If they get heavy though, drop them to the ground, or you can bring them straight out in front of you, or you can let them rest on the shoulders as well, guys. We got about 30 seconds. So this first circuit, we're gonna go the whole time with the legs. I have a couple cardio movements we're gonna switch between on every exercise. And I'll show you what that's gonna look like here. In about 20 seconds, you're gonna get a little break. So focus on the inhale down, exhale, squeeze, drive up, bring it back down again. Last couple reps, you got 10 seconds. See if you can get 2 or 3 more. We're gonna go here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. All right, you are resting. 2 options, you get to choose. Pop squat here, where you're gonna pop down, pop back up. Or second option, guys, you can step out into a slow step squat or adding a little hop. All right, you guys ready? We're gonna go for a minute here. Choose your version. We're gonna go here in 2, 1, and go. So pop squat, you go low squat. You don't have to hit the ground, but if you can, awesome. And then you're gonna push up to those toes. If you need something less plyo, easier on the joints, you can be right here, or throwing a little shuffle into it as well, okay? It doesn't matter to me, we're just trying to get the heart rate up with these sets. We're gonna alternate between that cardio and that strength today. And you're gonna get a lot of legs out of this first circuit. All right, guys, you got 40 seconds. Make sure you're using the legs to get low, not the back with all these movements. So you should be able to see your chest at the bottom of this movement. You should be looking directly out in front of you, not towards the ground. All right, 30 seconds. Let's go. Getting close, guys. I know we're starting to feel those legs. Keep pushing, even if you gotta take little breaks. Stand up, shake them out. Get back into it when you can. 15 seconds. Almost there. You got this. Last 10, let's go. Just a few more. We're gonna go here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. Resting, shake out those legs. We're gonna come into a single leg lunge. So for those of you that have knee issues, you may want to take a modified step back. So instead of letting the hips drop, like our regular lunge, you're just gonna go ahead and step back. Whoop, not like that, but like this, and then push up. So there's no drop down in the hips. All right, guys, let's get that first leg going. Pick that side. The bigger your step back, the more glute and hamstring. The shorter that step, the closer the knee to that front foot, the more quad. So if you want to alternate between those angles, or you want to put more emphasis on your glutes or your quads, you can kind of choose how you want to take that. We're going to do our best to step up with this front leg. So I'm going to think of my back leg as a kickstand. It's there to help me balance, but I'm not actually going to try to push off of it. Instead, I'm going to focus on stepping up and out of that lunge. And then again, going controlled. We're going to really focus on range of motion and control when we're not in that cardio round. So take your time, see how low you can get, see how controlled you can be through that movement. You guys are almost there. We got 15 seconds. We'll take that break. We're going to switch sides. And then you guessed it, we got another one of those cardio rounds coming. So we got 5 seconds, guys. Make sure you're breathing. Inhale down, exhale to step up. Go ahead and get this last one. Shake out that leg. You're gonna switch it over to the opposite side for me. All right, roll those shoulders back and down, lift the chest. You're ready, here we go. We're going here in 2, 1, and go. If this feels easy, go ahead and grab onto the dumbbells. Hold on to the weights, you can hold them straight at your side. Bring them up to your shoulders. Make it a little bit harder on yourself. This is the 3rd time I'm doing this. My legs are feeling it, so I'm gonna take it easy. But don't let me stop you from grabbing those weights, guys, and challenging yourself. Again, focus on your range of motion, focus on your control, really trying to work most of your weight through this front leg, and instead thinking of the back leg, it's just that kickstand. It's there to help you balance. It's there to help you get a little bit lower in that lunge, but we're not pushing off of that toe to step up. If your knee's hurting again, take that modified step back where you're just gonna reach the toe and then step up. There's not a whole lot of flexion through the hip or the knee, and instead, you just flex that glute to stand yourself back up. You got about 20 seconds. You're gonna get that break, and then sticking with those same 2 cardio movements, either that pop squat or that variation of that shuffle squat. We're gonna come back into that for another minute, okay, guys? So these are your last reps. Focus on that squeeze. We're gonna go 2, 1, and time. All right, shake out those legs, get your breath on board, take some big inhales, big exhales. Get ready to bring that heat for this cardio. Choose your version. It's okay to flop between them if you wanna switch it up. We're gonna go here in 3, 2, 1, and go. So pop squat start, popping up, popping down. Again, if you want to take that modified step squat, don't worry about how low you get with this one. Instead, let's work on that heart rate. Let's move a little faster. Really trying to pick up that tempo, pick up that speed. We got 60 seconds left, guys. Push off of that outside foot if you're here to launch yourself, and then land low and light on both of these movements. Again, use that breath. And don't be afraid to use those arms as well. Help you get a little bit of momentum, a little bit more power. almost there, guys. 40 seconds. You got this. My goal here, it's okay. If you haven't been working out and this is tough, slow it down. Slow your breathing down. The one thing I want you to try to do is keep your body moving though, okay? Try to keep moving through the whole set. Even if it's super modified, that's fine. We almost got our big break coming. We got about 2 more movements. The legs are gonna be done after that. We're gonna take a nice long break. We're gonna transition to some upper body. 7 seconds, guys. Whew. Let's go. Final push. 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. All right. Shake them out. Second to last movement here. You're gonna give me a sumo squat. You're gonna hold on to those dumbbells again. Nice wide base. Slight turnout with your feet. I want you to tuck your glutes underneath you. So make sure your glutes are right underneath you. You're stacked in nice neutral spine. And then your knees are gonna track out to the side. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Nice and controlled again. So we like to think of these strength movements as an active recovery. We're gonna really focus on elongating our breath, slowing down our movement. Again, putting that emphasis on range of motion and then actively flexing through those movements. So this one, a good mental cue, as you push out of the ground, I want you to think about sliding your feet out, like they're gonna slide, but they're not gonna move at all. You're just gonna give yourself that external force on those feet to feel your inner thigh and your glutes really start to fire up. We got 30 seconds, guys. Almost there. You can play around with the angle on your feet to get a little bit more inner thigh and more glute, or to shift that back to your quads, hamstring, and glute as well. So if you want more hamstring, quad, glute, bring your feet more parallel straight here instead of having that turn out. Get these last few reps. We got 15 seconds. Almost there. Last 10. All right, guys, we're gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. Shake it out. You have made it to your last leg movement. We're gonna do a pulsing squat. So I want you to find your stance, whether it's wide, whether it's closer, that feels comfortable to you. We're gonna hold at the bottom and we're gonna pulse. You're gonna get those quads, you're gonna get those glutes. It's gonna be hard. So if you need to jump up, shake it out, take a little break, get back into it as soon as you can, okay? Let's go. Bring it down with me. There's one rule. You cannot put your hands on your quads. So hands can go on the hips. They can go in prayer position. They can go on top of your head. They can go straight out in front of you, but they cannot rest on those quads. You're gonna make sure you're pushing through your feet. So I'm not just moving at my knees. I wanna drive out of the ground. Whew. The lower you are, the harder it is. So play with those angles. I know we're feeling it. It is burning, guys. I'm right there with you. I want you to try to hold out. This is it. Legs are gonna be done after this. I promise. 30 seconds. Breathe with me. Inhale down. Exhale to push. Inhale down. Exhale to push. You got 20 seconds left. Keep your core tight. If you need to bring your range of motion up, bring it up a little higher. If you can, keep it low. 15 seconds. You're there, guys. Let's go. Last 10. Try to hold these last 10. Whew. Here it is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. Shake it out. You guys have earned a break. If you want to grab some water, feel free to. If you need to reposition things, we're going to go ahead and transition down to the ground, guys, for some upper body and core, okay? Very similar setup, just different movements. So you guys have a minute here. Again, do whatever you need to recover. Get yourself set up. Grab some water. All right, guys. Well, you guys are resting. I'm going to go ahead and show you your first movement here. We're going to go ahead and roll down to the ground. So for those of you who have issues with the sit-up, maybe a sit-up's very difficult for you, I'm going to give you a couple of modifiers. So you can first tuck those feet underneath the couch, underneath the coffee table, and use that to help counterbalance you so you can roll down and roll up, okay? The other option, if you can't go all the way down to the ground, you're gonna give me a partial. So I'm gonna go 3/4 of the way, or as far as I can support my low back, and then I'm gonna roll up. We are gonna add some weight. So you're gonna come into it, what it's gonna look like, whether you're going all the way down, halfway down, or your feet are free in free air, or just in free space here, you're gonna roll down into the ground. You're gonna go ahead and curl your body up. When you get to the top, you're gonna give me 2 presses. So I can make this easier or harder by switching up between 1 or 2 dumbbells, okay? So guys, choose your variation. You got about 10 seconds before we get started. I'm going all out. I'm grabbing 2 dumbbells. If you want to join me, please do it. Make sure your feet are grounded. Make sure we're curving the spine up and down, really bracing the core here, okay? Let's get after it. Let's go. Here we go, guys. So you're going to peel up into that sit-up. 2 presses. Hold those shoulders back down, squeeze together. Exhale to press straight up again. Bring the dumbbells to your chest before you go ahead and release out of that sit-up. Again, use that exhale, squeezing the core even more to roll up. 2 presses. Pull those shoulders back down, squeeze. Release out of it. Bring it back to the chest. Give me that slow, controlled roll down. You got it, guys. With these strength movements, I don't want you to rush through them. The slower you go, the heavier your weights feel, the harder these movements become. So I actually really want you to focus on control and then actively flexing the muscle we're working on. So we have the core on the sit-up. We're working some pec and shoulder and tricep on that press. And then again, that core on the way down, dragging your weight, controlling your weight back down to the floor. You guys are doing awesome. We got about 25 seconds. Make sure you're breathing through this. Don't be afraid to drop the weights if you need to. Modify if you need to. So if you need to come down to the ground and just give me a floor press right here for the last 10, go there, guys. Do what you need to do. Just keep that body moving. Get through this set. We're going to go here. 3, 2, 1, and time. Awesome job. All right, we're going to come into a dynamic or a walking plank. So some of you are going to want to take this from your knees. I'll show you guys on the knees first, and then I'm going to pop up to my toes. If you're going to take the modified version, I want to make sure your hips are in alignment. You have that straight line. Make sure you're not up here like this, okay? So we want to keep the core engaged. We're going to go ahead and drop down to the elbows, and then we're pushing up to the palm to come back up into that plank position, okay? That is the entire movement. I want you guys to go ahead and jump into it with me. Make sure you're alternating that arm that's picking you up. Again, if you're going to go advanced with me, we're up on the toes, we're in that full plank position, and then we are so focused on our movement. Yes, we're going up and down, but I want you guys to limit how much you're letting that body shift side to side. Really brace into your core, stabilize your body as much as you can as you push out of the ground. It makes it that much harder if you can really control that shift side to side. You're going to move a little bit, but really just put that emphasis on keeping it controlled and tight, keeping the core engaged, guys. Do not be afraid to come down to the knees and make sure that you're alternating you up. You guys got 20 seconds left. Whew. Let's go. Starting to feel those shoulders. Definitely feeling those abs. 15 seconds. Almost there. Last 10 here. All right, guys. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Go ahead and rest. You're coming into your first cardio round. I got a couple movements to show you guys. First, this is going to be modified. Easiest version, you're down on your back. You're giving me this bicycle crunch right here. Pedaling the legs, reaching across, okay? If you want to take this a little bit harder, still moderately hard though, we're going to come into that bicycle, but now I'm in V, and my legs are elevated. I'm right here, okay? If you want to go all out with me, you're going to come into your mountain climber. You can take this in your plank here on the ground, like this, or if you need to, guys, make it just a tad easier, pop up to an elevated surface, drive those knees up towards that elevated surface. All right, let's do it. We're going a minute. You got 10 seconds to decide. I gave you a lot to choose from. Pick what's going to work for you. Try to keep your body moving. We're going to go here in 2, 1. Let's go. Foot speed on those climbers. If you're with me, pull those knees up towards your chest and right in between your elbows here. Make sure your core is engaged the whole time, whether you're in full plank or you're elevated. If you're down in those bicycle crunches, get after those crunches. Put some power into your legs, like you're actually pedaling the bike. Put some resistance into it, and try to reach that elbow to the outside of your knee. So you get a lot of cross-body action, really firing those obliques. Guys, you're past halfway. Let's go. We got 30 seconds. Keep pumping those knees. Keep going, driving those legs on both of these movements. Whew. 20 seconds left. Core is tight, core is engaged, shoulders are backing down. Whew. Here we go, guys, 10 seconds. See it through. Try not to quit. We're gonna go here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Time. Shake out those arms. Definitely feeling the shoulders. Definitely feeling the core right now. All right, guys, we are gonna come into our Z press. So, again, I got a couple variations for you. I'm gonna start with the harder one this time. If you have the ability to take a split stance and still keep your posture tall, meaning there's no round in my back, there's no round in my shoulders, but I'm able to really sit up and down, nice tall posture, you're gonna join me here. This can be very hard if you have tight hips. So variation 1, feel those hips pulling, bring your knees up. If that's still too much, bring them in. If that's still too much, you're gonna give me a crisscross applesauce. The most important thing to me is not what position your legs are in, but that you have that tall posture and you're pushed into those hips. So again, you got some time, you got about 15 seconds if you wanna play around with it. You can go one dumbbell, hold it by either side. Or again, if you want that challenge, grab onto both of them. We're gonna bring that angle out to about a 45, so I'm not all the way open, I'm not close. I'm gonna come somewhere in the middle there, okay? So find that position, sit up nice and tall, brace the core, let's go. Big exhale, push up. Inhale, release those dumbbells down. Again, tempo also controls a lot of this intensity. So if I wanna make this harder, I'm gonna slow and really drag my weights, really controlling the weight down and give it a good big push up, an explosive push up. If it already feels hard and it feels heavy and your shoulders are already yelling at you from the last 2 rounds, speed it up. Get a little momentum underneath you to help you push up and down. Don't be afraid to go to an alternating, switching those arms out to a little break in between if you need to as well. Go down to 1 dumbbell, go down to no dumbbells. Again, just keep that body moving. Big exhale up, inhale down. You guys are doing awesome. Come on, I know they're burning. We got 20 seconds. Check your core for me, check your posture. Make sure you're still sitting tall. 15 seconds. Whew. Last 10. Here we go, guys. We're gonna go here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. All right, you guys are so close. We're gonna go 3 more movements. You're gonna come down, we're gonna take a wide grip push-up. My arms are pretty shot. I'm gonna take it down to the knees because I'm more concerned with range of motion than being up on my toes. But if you are feeling good, jump up onto that full plank, give me that full range of motion on the push-up. Go ahead and brace your core, pull your shoulders back and down, squeeze towards the middle of your back. We're gonna go here in 2, 1, and go, guys. Just a push-up. Focus on range. How low can you get? If it is hard for you to do a push-up off the ground, you can come, again, elevate yourself, bring yourself here. You can even come up to the toes to make it a little bit harder. This is your workout. This is your time. I want you to do what's gonna bring you the most intensity, but you're gonna be able to do safely and get through this set, okay? As you push out of the ground, guys, squeeze your core, squeeze your glutes, use your whole body. This is not just an upper body movement, this is a full body movement. We got 30 seconds, guys. Breaking if you need to hold your plank until your arms feel ready, and then drop back into those push-ups. All right, again, momentum is your friend. So if you need to, speed it up a bit. I know it seems like it's the opposite. It does make it slightly easier though. We got 10 seconds, let's go. Woo. Almost there. We're gonna go 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. All right, guys. You gotta hit your last cardio round on this one. So you can switch it up. If you didn't have a resist last time and you wanna go to bicycle crunches, feel free to swap them out. But pick what you're gonna do. And you got about 20 seconds. Don't be afraid to elevate. Don't be afraid to modify. Your only goal here is to get through the set, keeping the body moving, going as slow or as fast as you can, okay? All right, guys, let's get into position. We're gonna get you guys going here in 3, 2, 1, and go. Let's go. Pumping those knees, using that breath. If you're with me, I want you to focus on that foot speed. How fast can you pop those feet up off the mat as soon as they touch? They're barely resting. They're constantly moving. If you're in that bicycle crunch, put that resistance into your legs. Give me that big twist. Reach that elbow for the outside of your knee. We got 30 seconds to go, guys. You're doing awesome. Stick with it. Even if you have to slow it down, maybe you're right here. Maybe you're just pulling that knee in, releasing back, that's fine. But keep the body up, keep it moving. We got that break coming again. We got 20 seconds left. 15. If you got any more in the tank, let's go. Get it out here. We got 10 seconds. All right, guys. 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo, and time. All right. Almost there, guys. 2 movements left. This is a nice, easy one. You're going to use it as active recovery. Grab onto 1 or 2 dumbbells, depending on how heavy you want to go. It's going to be a skull crusher. So if your legs are shot, your arms, you're going to go 1 dumbbell. You're going to hold it by either side. Bring it down to the forehead, squeeze and push up. If you feel up to the challenge, guys, grab onto that 2nd dumbbell. Again, bringing them down and up, keeping that elbow fixed on the shoulders. Feel free to push them together. That will actually give you that in between. They're gonna feel a little bit lighter. If you're not already joining me, go ahead and grab those weights, jump in with me. Check your core for me real quick. So if you have that natural low back arch, I'm gonna ask you to pull your ribs and your belly button into the ground and close that gap. Squeezing those deep abdominal muscles while we work those triceps out. Inhale down, exhale up. Again, if you need to, if those weights feel easy, slow it down, add a pause, and then give me that big squeeze up. If they feel hard, pick that tempo up, guys. Going into that 1-1 if you need to. All right, 30 seconds. Almost there. Make sure those elbows are not swinging. They're right on top of the shoulders through the entire set. Let's get these last few reps. You're looking at about 15 seconds left. How many can you squeak in? These are the ones that count the most. So power through if you can. We're gonna go here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. Time. All right, guys, you've made it to your last movement. You can take this kneeling, or you can stand up if you have a hard time kneeling, hurts your knees, or maybe it's too much of a stretch for your quads. Go ahead and sit on top of the couch, or go ahead and stand up for me. It's gonna look exactly the same. We've got a staggered front raise. If the weights get too heavy, you're gonna be right here, okay? Just 1 dumbbell. But if you can, you're gonna stay with me. So roll those shoulders back and down, brace your core, make sure your ribs and hips are right on top of each other. You're gonna go here in 2, 1, and go. So bring that arm up, hold. Opposite arm up, hold. Drop, drop. Oh yeah. Up, hold, hold, bring it down. All right, you guys stay there. I'm gonna show you your quick modifier if you need it. So if you're gonna need a break and give me that winged arm, bring it into a lateral raise, stagger it, awesome. Go ahead and keep that staggered position here. If it's still too much, guys, go down to 1 dumbbell, or give me 1, 2, right here, okay? You choose your version. You got 30 seconds left though. So right here, stay focused. Arms are gonna be done after this one. Then all we got left is that core. So really let it burn. Challenge yourself these last few reps. Make sure your core is tight, low back is arching, so keep those ribs right on top of those hips, those abs. You should hold 7 seconds, guys, you got this. We're gonna go 4, 3, 2, 1. Time, take that break. You guys have earned it. You got another minute here again. If you need to grab some water, feel free to grab some water. We're gonna go ahead and transition into your core. I'm gonna let you guys rest here, and I'm gonna show you what your cardio movements are gonna be for this round. And then again, we're just going 2 of them, so you can choose if you wanna keep it the same or if you wanna alternate between the 2. The first one's kind of fun. It's called our break dancer move. So I will do this one during our sets, and I will verbally walk you through this one so that you guys can do it, okay? But right now, you guys are just resting. You're just gonna watch as you rest. So you're gonna be in plank position. You're gonna step up, just kind of like we did with that groiner in the warm-up. Plant that foot. This back leg is gonna kick through, like you're breakdancing. Step back, switch sides, kick through. So you can really keep it slow, like this, or if you start to feel comfortable with it, you can start sliding and hopping through it, okay? If you don't feel comfortable with that, you're popping up, you're gonna give me a high knee march or a full high knee, pumping those arms, pumping those legs, okay? We're not gonna start with the cardio, but I just wanted to give you guys a chance to see what's coming your way so that you can practice right now, or you can figure out which one's gonna work for you. This is our last circuit, so you got about 8 minutes of work here. Then we're gonna finish with a little stretching flow at the end here, okay guys? So keep that in mind, use that as a gauge to really push your intensity as we finish up. All right, you got about 18 seconds, join me on your back. We're gonna start with the pelvic tilt crunch. So what I'm gonna have you guys do is I want you to go ahead and raise your ribs up. So I know it's hard to tell with my sweatshirt, but I have this natural arch in my low back. I can slide my hands underneath my back. We are gonna close that. So every time between our crunch, you're gonna raise those ribs up, and then you're gonna tilt your pelvis, squeezing your ribs and your belly button into the ground, flexing the core. Once you're in that pelvic tilt, you're gonna go ahead and give me that crunch. It's gonna make it that much harder, okay? You're gonna release again, pull back down, come into that crunch. So if you wanna take this last 10 seconds before we get started to practice that pelvic tilt, go ahead. You're just gonna go ahead and close the gap. So now I can't slide my hands under my back, and then I release my ribs up, and then squeeze my core and push my low back into the ground. So your pelvis is actually shifting forward and back, okay? All right, guys, hands around the ears, hands around the shoulders, hands around the neck if you need it. Just don't pull on that neck, use the core. Release those ribs up. Exhale to squeeze the ribs and the belly button into the ground. Take another big inhale before you exhale to roll up into that crunch. Peeling those shoulders up, release to the floor, release those ribs, pull, squeeze, big exhale up. If you were doing this right, we just made your crunch a million times harder. You are feeling every ab muscle through that flexion. Try to pick those shoulder blades up, peel them off of the ground, guys. And then I want you to use that exhale to flex and squeeze your abs even more. So you're exhaling as you pelvic tilt, squeeze here, inhale again, exhale as you peel up. Again, using that exhale to squeeze your core even tighter. We got 30 seconds. Release those ribs. Exhale to roll up. Inhale to roll down. Almost there. If you need to modify to just the pelvic tilt, go ahead and take that as your modifier. We got about 15 seconds left, guys. These are your last few reps here. Last 10. All right, we're gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. You're resting here. We're gonna come into your roll-up crunch. So hands go on the quads. You're gonna pretend like you have a small piece of fruit so your neck is relaxed. You're squeezing it between your chest. Keep that pelvic tilt through this whole set, through the whole time. So we're not actually gonna move through it, but keep yourself in that pelvic tilt with the core engaged, and then exhale to peel those shoulders up and forward. If this is too much for your neck, support your neck. Slide just one arm up, okay? Let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. If you haven't joined me, meet me here. Again, use that breath. Exhale, rolling, try to get those fingertips above the knees, and then bring it back down to the ground. Exhale up, big squeeze. Inhale back down, vacuuming that stomach as we come into that flexion. Thinking about bringing those ribs right into those hip bones, and then reaching up past those knees. We got 40 seconds. Keep going, guys. You got this. Don't be afraid if you need to shorten the range of motion up. Take breaks if you need to, but if you can keep going, push it right here. Let it burn. We're going to come into that cardio round so that core will get a little mini break before we jump back in to finish it off. You guys got 20 seconds left. Exhale that big squeeze. Inhale back down. Exhale, a big squeeze. Nice and controlled. Last 10, guys. Here we go. We're gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. All right, take that break. Quick reminder, we have that break dancer, or you can stand up and give me a high knee march or a high knee. It does not matter to me. This is your choice. You choose what's gonna work best for you. I'm gonna give you the verbal cues on this break dancer though. So if you wanna give it a go, you're gonna follow me, okay? Okay guys, let's do it. Let's get after it. We're gonna go ahead. If you're in break dancer, we're going here in 2, 1, and go. You're gonna step up outside of the foot, bring that opposite knee, kick through. Step back on the mat, opposite foot steps up, kick that leg through. Again, find your balance, find your rhythm, and then as you start to feel comfortable, pick up that tempo, turn those hips, release that leg out to that full kick. You can also bring this opposite arm up to make it a bit harder. Guys, we got 50 seconds. If you are high knee or marching, pull those knees up to your chest using your core. If you're in a full high knee, awesome. Move those quick feet. Move them as quick as you can. Pick those toes up. We got 30 seconds. Almost there. Great job, guys. Keep going, keep going. Slowing down the spine, stopping is our last resort. If we can keep the body moving, let's keep it moving. We got 15 seconds left. Almost there. Last 10. All right, guys. We're gonna go 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. All right. 3 minutes left. Flip onto the back for me. We're gonna come into cross-body crunch. I'm gonna show you a couple of variations. We're gonna start with the modified version, and then I'll show you the more advanced as we get started. So, put those hands around the ear, or again, if you need to support the neck, feel free to. Pull the belly button. Give me that pelvic tilt. Pull your leg up into tabletop here. I want you to not move the knee towards the leg, and instead bring that elbow to meet that knee. Alternate those legs. Tabletop here. Again, meet that knee. So you're having to flex through it. If you want to take it up a notch, bring the opposite leg flat to hover above the ground. You have to make sure you're supporting that low back if you're going to take that more advanced movement. And it's just, again, keeping that pelvic tilt, keeping that low back and that belly button glued to the ground. Keep reaching that elbow to the outside of your knee. If you're not there yet, that's fine. That is your goal. Every rep, you're going to try to get a little closer to that goal. If you're there, awesome. Try to maintain that range of motion. 20 seconds, guys. You're almost there. 15 seconds left. Last 10. All right. We're going to go here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. All right. Legs go up. We're going to reach for the toes. Again, this low back needs to be pushed into the ground. So you're going to keep that same pelvic tilt. If this is too hard, option 1, tabletop the legs. Just bend the knees, knees on hips, legs at a 90-degree angle here. If that's still too much for your low back, you're going to bring your feet all the way to the ground, and you're going to pretend like your feet are still up in the air. Okay, so you're just going to reach for them. All right, guys, I got a little burnout on this one if you want it. Go ahead and join me. You're going to roll all the way down to the ground, all the way up, reaching for those toes. Exhale up, big squeeze. Inhale to bring yourself back down to the floor. If you want a challenge, we got about 50 seconds here. In about 30 seconds, so the last 20 seconds, you're gonna pulse it out with me. We are gonna let those core muscles ignite. We're gonna get them on fire, and you're not gonna let your shoulders drop to the ground. You're gonna shorten the range of motion, you're gonna pick up the tempo. It's just an option. You can stay here the whole set if it's already hard, but if you want the challenge, go ahead and jump in with me. We got about 10 seconds, guys. All right, who's ready to do it? We're going here in 3, 2, 1. If you're there, you're right here. You're gonna pulse squeeze. I know it's burning. Let's go. We're almost there. 15 seconds. Breathe through it. Last 10. Come on, guys. Keep them up. Keep them up. Reach, 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 reach. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. Time. All right. Last cardio round and then one more core movement. So 2 minutes here on the work, and then we come into your stretching flow to finish today's class, okay? Guys, you're so close. Okay, choose your variation, high knees, march, or give me that break dancer, okay? Here we go, guys. You got 5 seconds. Let's get after it. We're going here in 3, 2, 1, and go. So if you're break dancing, it's step outside of the foot, kick through opposite foot. Step up, kick through. Find that rhythm that you feel comfortable and safe moving at, but it's also pushing your tempo. This is it for cardio today. You got 50 seconds left. Let's go, guys. I want you to check in with yourself. Make sure you're challenging yourself. You're pushing yourself. There's not much left of this workout. You've reached the end. You got nothing to lose. Give it all you got right here to finish. We got 30 seconds to go. If you can move faster, move faster. If you can pull those knees up higher, pull them up higher. 15 seconds, guys. Let's go. Last 10. I know we're tired. You're almost there. We're gonna go here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Slow your breath down. One more movement left. I'm gonna show you the modified version first, and then I'm gonna show you the full version later, okay? So if you are modified, you're gonna find that modified plank where you're on your knees. You're gonna keep those hips low, and instead of C sign, so you're gonna be right here like this, guys. Instead of C sign, you're gonna lift your arm up or out to the side. Stabilize that, switch and alternate arms, okay? If you want to challenge, you're gonna join me. We're on forearms. We're up in plank. We're gonna seesaw forward, seesaw back, okay? All right, guys, let's get after it. Jump up with me. You got a minute right here, 60 seconds. So seesawing forward, I'm just pushing my weight to my toes and then sliding back into my heels. The wider my base with the feet, the easier this is. So first, make sure you have a good, nice wide base. Make sure your hips are not popped up or your low back is arched. Pull that belly button in. Put yourself in that flexed position, just like you're in a crunch almost in that plank. And then try to just move that body forward and back. Try not to let it shift up. Squeeze the core, guys. Pull that belly button in, cinch those sides up. Flex as hard as you can to finish. We got 20 seconds left. We're almost there. 15. Keep holding, keep squeezing. Last 10. Let's go. Here we go. We're gonna go here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The hard part is over. You have made it. I want you to take a second. If you need to grab some water, grab some water. If you're breathing hard, slow your breathing down. Focus on big inhales through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Meet me down on your mat. You're gonna lay on your tummy for me. We're gonna go through this flow 2 times, guys. You're gonna hold each pose for about 10 to 15 seconds. Arms are gonna go flat out to your side in your T position. You're gonna pick one side to start with. Look over to that opposite side. Swing this leg over to lay into the ground. So this foot is gonna sit into the ground, and then I'm gonna use my body weight to push into this shoulder for this just nice big stretch. If your hips are super tight, you may feel a little pull through your hips as well. And then here, guys, you have made it. Enjoy the stretch. Relax the body, slow the breathing down. Focus on some longer inhales and exhales. Go ahead and shift that body over to the opposite side. So the other arm is gonna come along. We're gonna push over. We're gonna use our own weight to twist into that arm for that nice big stretch. Again, breathing into our stretch, slowing everything down. Coming into that recovery mode now. Slide yourself back to the mat here. I want you to slide your hands directly underneath your shoulders. If you know you struggle with the push-up, you're gonna push up to your knees, and then you're gonna find plank by lifting those knees up. If you have the ability, you're gonna give me a full push-up into your plank position. We're gonna take an inhale and we're gonna transition into that downward dog, okay? So you choose whatever version you need to get up into plank. Take a big inhale on your exhale, push up into that plank position, guys. Take another big inhale on your exhale, shift those hips up. Find your downward dog. Again, if you need to bend your knees to get your tailbone up towards the sky, bend the knees, push the heels to the ground, slide the hands out in front of you. Pull those shoulders away from your ears, elongate the back, elongate the legs. You're gonna find three-legged dogs. So I want you to go ahead and kick your leg up, your right leg up. Holding that stretch, bring that knee, that right knee towards your right elbow. Swing your ankle to your left hand. And then I want you to just slide into your half pigeon pose. So this leg is bent, my back leg is straight, my toe is pointed. If this is a lot of stretch for you, you're gonna stay right here. If you have the ability to come down to the forearms, make your way down to your forearms. If you're feeling extra flexible and you have the ability to come all the way down, walk those hands out. Find the bottom of your movement, turn that long leg hip towards the ground, so both hips are squared towards the ground. And then breathe into that low back, breathe into that hip, create space through that stretch. Exhaling the tension, inhaling into the stretch. Almost there, guys. 2 more big inhales and exhales. If you were down all the way, start to walk back up to your forearms. Forearms to hands. You're gonna untuck that back toe. We're gonna transition back into downward dog. So I'm gonna lift myself to plank first, and then I'm gonna lift up into my downward dog, holding here. Again, creating that space, pushing my hands forward, heels back and away from me, tailbone up towards the ceiling. Take that three-legged dog on the opposite side, lift that leg up. Pull that knee towards your elbow. Kick that foot over to your wrist. Find that position, slowly gliding into your stretch. Point the back leg, that toe back behind you. And then if you took it all the way down to the mat, or if you took it to forearms, go ahead and find that same position. Find that same pose you took on the last side. Again, relaxing and melting into that stretch. Squaring those hips, lengthening your back out. And using that breath, talking to your muscles. It sounds silly, but just telling them to relax, focusing on them lengthening will actually help. 2 more big inhales and exhales. Again, if you were all the way down, walk yourself up to forearms, bring yourself up. We're gonna go ahead and untuck. We're gonna find our last position of downward dog. So go ahead and release to plank, shift those hips up to downward dog. From here, guys, I want you to just drop your knees down to the mat. So you're gonna find that fourplex position. Bring your big toes together and let your knees sink out to the outside of your mat. Shift back into your hips. Finding child's pose here. Pick a side, swing that arm underneath. Threading the needle through that opposite arm and then watching your gaze into that arm, sinking into those hips. Holding here for 10. Go ahead and release that arm out in front of you. Find that same thread the needle on the opposite side. Again, watch that gaze through that arm. Lengthen the arm out in front of you. Square the shoulders, square the hips. Go ahead and release both arms out in front of you. Gonna go ahead and just sink into that child's pose. Reach your arms out, push into your palms. If you can get your head down to the ground, go ahead and just sink into the floor. Fully relaxing. I'm gonna have you guys slowly walk your hands up to meet you in that kneeling position. We are going to be all done today, you guys. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate your time and your participation. I hope you guys have a great evening. If anybody has questions or if you want to say hi, feel free to. I'll be here for a few minutes. And if not, have a good rest of your evening. And I hope to see you again. All right, guys. I'll see you later, okay? I'm here if anybody wants to chat, though. Of course.
I just want to say hello and thank you.
Oh, of course, Brian. Hopefully I'll see you again.
Thursday.
All right, sounds great. See you Thursday.
Bye.
Bye. Mel, how are you? You look great. Of course. Bye, Amanda. I can't hear you though. Hold on. Let me unmute you. I got you muted. Give me a second.
Here we go.
Oh,